Everyone, please sing. Hare Krishna, one more time together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Everyone, please sing. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. From your heart. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 give it to Raksha
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone, please from your heart. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Your chant. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe, Radha Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Radhe, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Shri Radhe. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaura Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय 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 श्री राधे. Hare Krishna. Very happy to see all of you. Thank you very much for coming. How many more minutes? Hare Krishna. So, we will do short Mangalarchan prayers and then we'll get started with some discussion. Please kindly repeat after me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So very happy to see all of you. Thank you very much for coming. Today I was mentioning to some people earlier, we had a festival in the temple today in the morning. We will have one more celebration tomorrow. In the life of devotees, one complaint I hear from devotees is we are having too many parties. We are all constantly singing, dancing and feasting such delicious prasadam. Today they couldn't fit everything in one plate, they gave 2 plates. And I don't know how, it's a mystical power. They eat so much prasadam, they still remain young and healthy. So, I see one Mataji, I think she's visiting us from somewhere. Where are you coming from, Mataji? Florida. What's your good name, Mataji? Ishwari Radha Devi Dasi Mataji ki jai. Let us welcome her by Thank you for coming and giving us your association. So, Sundaranand Prabhu will be here in another 20 minutes or so. So, we will do one exercise while we are waiting. We have been having few sessions, and I'm sure all of you have had an opportunity to digest what you heard. One of the things with spirituality, of course, can be armchair philosophers, meaning somebody can just read Bhagavad Gita and in their old age and debate and discuss with others without ever following. One thing I have noticed, ISKCON does quite differently to other religious organizations. Many organizations, they have good rituals. But in ISKCON we see, for everything they quote shlokas, and for everything they want to know the reason why. Why do we do what we do? When we know the spirit behind the ritual, I may be offering a lamp. If it's just mechanical offering of lamp, I might be offering and thinking and watching cricket or watching some serial on the side. And I've seen many people do it also. Because when you don't know why you do what you do, we may be mechanically following it, but we have no idea why we do what we do. So when we understand the spirit behind the ritual, it actually becomes spiritual. So one thing I've noticed, ISKCON presents spirituality as a science. They want to understand why, and they are very big on educating people. Because when we know why we do what we do, there is a good chance we will stick to it for longer. So that's one. And number two is it's a practical application of spirituality. Spirituality is not something that people in their retirement or people in Himalayan yogis only should read and follow. Bhagavad Gita is very much applicable for Bay Area people also. Arjuna was in very much stress when he asked Krishna a few questions. And many of them are very much relevant for, specifically for Bay Area people actually. So it is our humble mission, following in the mood of Srila Prabhupada, that we want to bring in change in the lives of people, positive change. Change that uplifts you, change that benefits you, your family, and the society at large. So, over the past few weeks, we have been discussing. Some of you are new, some of you have been coming here for quite some time. So, we'll do this exercise over the next 5 minutes or so. So, when I say set, go, so you are all going to stand up, meet someone whom you have never met before, introduce yourself. Hopefully you'll remember the names, you'll get to know more people. Once, you probably might want to describe where you are from India, where you work, what type of stresses you're going through, how many grey hair you have grown and all that stuff. So once you do that, please speak about this particular question, one question. How are these sessions helping you or have helped you and helping you? What are some of the changes you are able to make in your life, thought process or lifestyle changes? So if you can kindly discuss that. On the other side of the break, we will hear some reflections. So please think about over the last few weeks, or maybe you have been hearing and reading Bhagavad Gita for many years, whatever may be the case. What has changed in your life? Practically, have you seen yourself become angry less often? Lust, greed have reduced, or at least we are attempting to give them up. Earlier, we did not know we are not the mind. Now we have a separation. I am not the mind, so I don't have to follow. I don't have to become the servant of my mind. Whatever may be the case. Okay? So, we will say, go, set, go. We will see you in, so maybe 2 minutes each. Is that okay? Alright. Please stand up and then meet someone whom you have never met before.
What's your name? What's your name?
By the way, we have cameras installed for this only.
My name is Abigail. How old are you? 8? I'm 13. What grade are you in? Huh? How long have you been reading this class? Oh, it's recording. It's actually recording. What have you learned so far in these classes? I've been coming to this class for like 1.5 years. We learned like, there was like one time when we were learning this stuff about Gita. I think we did 2 chapters. But like, then usually it's usually about like the essence, like what happens during
Oh, hello. Well, look, they can see us in the reflection.
We all talk to Rayon. How's lesson?
Go come.
Wait. Why does this guy get homeschooled? Why does this guy 10? Why does this guy get homeschooled but you get to go to a private school? But you're just already in the system too far. You can't just like leave it. What's your elo? Chess. Like chess elo. What's chess elo?
And I made a candidate last minute. I made a CM in bowling. Oh, 23 on these, 22 Friday.
Bro, my ratings was like 300 because this guy, he lost 4 games in a row because he resigned
Hare
on purpose.
Krishna.
On purpose.
It's been 2 minutes
I
already.
have a 376 and I can't get
I know.
all of that. Because like everyone started and
We'll
like
see if you can
every good
switch
player
the
got
tables.
376. Like lots of people. That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
No, they're real good there.
No, people are good there. But like
They just get stuck.
yeah, they just get stuck. So I have to like keep getting my elo up.
I was 500 and this guy jump started.
To 700.
I know. The thing is,
In the past 5 days, I've gotten from the community.
once you get above a certain rating, it's easier to go above. What?
You made a video about because
Kill tall, yeah. Kill tall.
no, you said
Yeah, I know.
that was called sacrificing.
Yeah, and sacrifice isn't golden, bro. Sacrifice is he always sacrifices.
You know what he was? I sacrificed him, but he sacrificed at the same time.
He sacrificed. Oh yeah, I sacked him against him. I sacked the rook. He beat him. Right? I sacked the rook. And I sacked the rook again. And then I got him. I sacked my king. I sacked the rook against him. And then I sacked another rook. I sacked my king. I made a queen, and then I won.
I thought the twins were
You sacrificed? No, the king.
You know who sacrificed?
By the way, Alright, thank you. Hare Krishna. It's been 6 minutes, believe it or not. Men are done. Women are not yet done. Okay, if it's okay, we will take seats. Please try to fill in the front if possible. Please sit in the front if it's possible. Kids can go to their kids' classes. Please take a seat. If she likes, she can go to the class. Okay. Do you know where your classroom is? Jahnavi, do you want to go to the class? They have special fruits I heard today. What is your favorite fruit? Does she like fruits? Alright. So please fill in the front if possible. Alright, so we have a free mic. Would anyone like to share what you heard from the partner? Anyone? What did? Okay, Priyanka ji. It needs to be press and hold. Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I see a big line in the back. I don't know. Maybe something good. Alright, please go.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I spoke to
Sakshi
Sakshi Mataji. Sorry, I'm still getting used to Mataji because I'm not inside. So I spoke to her. I heard.
Can we have everyone back here? Mataji is there like we can't stop at this point, so they went in the back and they're continuing their discussion. I see some Prabhus are also missing.
I was about to say.
Okay. Yes, Priyanka ji, please.
Yeah, I spoke to Sakshi Mataji. She said she's been coming here from the past 2 years, and these sessions have helped her a lot in changing her personality. She said earlier she was more reactive. Now she thinks a lot and reacts later. Like in case if it's not required, she doesn't even react. So it has changed her personality, and she feels this more as her family right now. So and she thinks she'll be associating with this more in the future. So it's very nice, and she's a mom and she's working full time, and she thinks these sessions have helped a lot to even change her dietary like diet. Basically she cut down on onion, garlic, and that kind of helped her a lot. So it's good to know all that, and thanks to Sakshi Mataji for sharing all that.
Haribo. Thank you. Very beautiful. Would anyone else like to share what you heard from your partner?
Yeah, I spoke with Sandhya Mataji. Yeah, she told her experience. So she's coming from past 1 year. She felt she's feeling very good. So as even me too, this is my 4th class. I could see few changes than me. I can see in my husband. Like he's very, he's like morning. Never he used to get up at 6 unless until if it is something like his call, office call. Now he get up, he'll be waiting. And in the whole day also, I see him chanting like the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna most of the time. So I feel in that way, in this work stress, it is helping him a lot. And of course, my kids, beautiful kids, they are coming from college. Whenever they come home on Saturday, so even they are very happy to come here.
Haribo.
Sorry, Mataji, I told about my changes more than you, but she gave me lot of things where how she was feeling for past 1 year, and she started in chanting and helping in Bhagavatam, right? Yes, yeah. So very happy, and I'm very like thankful for this. Maybe I've learned a lot in the future. Yeah.
Haribo, thank you. Okay, would anyone else like to share? Anyone from Prabhu's side?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I was talking to Anand Prabhu, and he was mentioning that they've started.
With whom? Anand Prabhu?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, they've started coming recently, and it was again good to see how they are seeing this whole association helping them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Ramayan, Sri Ramayan. Okay. Sorry, please.
No, that's okay. Yeah, so how this association is helping them is becoming like a ritual. They want to come every week, and how it's changing them, even their kids, to be more introspective, like on how things are going, be more reflective about this. So yeah, which is great to see. And, same experience I have had, so I think it's great to see, like even in a few sessions, people are feeling that. So yeah.
Haribo. The good thing about science experiments is anyone who mixes hydrogen and oxygen get water. So it's good to see the same experiment working for different people. So nice. Anyone else?
I spoke with Manish Prabhuji. Yeah, he works at Menlo Park. He's coming from the first class itself, and he got introduced with some WhatsApp groups. Since he came, he's thinking about what changes to be done. I think he has.
Manish Prabhu is Swati?
Yeah.
Okay, Swati. I'm still yet to connect. Who is the wife and husband? So thank you.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah, so I think they have been doing some good karma activities. So they want to expand more, I think, inspired by this class. I think I pray Krishna to give them more service chances. Yeah.
Haribo. Okay, any more? Anyone would like to share what you heard from your partner? Okay.
Hare Krishna. So I met Raksha right here, and she said that her aunt is the one who told her. I asked her, how many times have you been coming to this program? It's such a nice thing to see a young woman coming here. And she said she just started working, and this is her second time coming here. And I asked her, do you have Bhagavad Gita as it is? She's like, no, I don't have it. I said, you should get one today when you go.
We have 4 copies.
4 copies.
4 lucky people can get it. Please, no stampede. But yes.
Yeah. So she's studying, or she's working in aeronautical engineering, and she's very inquisitive to know more about what is this. It's nice and everything. So I said, oh, this is a very good idea. So I'm very glad to meet her, and yeah.
Thank you. It's especially happy to see people take up spirituality at a young age. Usually we hear, maybe when you retire, then you have time to read Bhagavad Gita. But unfortunately, that's not how the mind works. So, Bhagavad Gita is the manual for life. It's not that at the end of life, after having misused the body, the machine, then we read, how should I have used this machine called human body? So it's already too late to make any changes in lifestyle changes, because the mind, it's a mental thing. If the mindset is set one way, 30 is already late. Many of us are in close to 40. 40 is also late. So Prahlad Maharaj said 5 years. So we're not, you're also late. So don't worry. The whole world. I remember when I started reading Bhagavad Gita, I think 17, 18. So they said, what? At this age? Are you a failure? No. If we don't read, we don't even know what success and failure means. So it's very helpful to see. I'm very happy to see your sister. She's coming week after week. So that makes us feel that something must be good. Prashadam, Kirtan, philosophy, maybe all. Very nice. Anyone else would like to share? And then maybe we can also discuss what personal changes have you made in your own life. Now, instead of talking about the partner, you can speak about your own self, in your own family, in your own lifestyle. What are a couple of changes that you have made and you have seen some benefit? Or what changes are you planning to make? If it's so hard to think, what did I make? Because when you say it in front of a spiritual crowd like this, you get special blessings. So you will get more determination, more strength to do what you are planning to do. Okay, 1, 2.
I'll go first. So personally, a lot of changes in my life, in my family's life. We never have eaten meat. I used to have egg in bakery, and my husband used to have like boiled or egg or omelette occasionally. But now we have completely stopped egg also, even in bakery. I used to cook food in onion, some dishes which were specific for onion, completely stopped. And honestly, it was not a forced thing. That aversion came automatically. Not only in me, in my husband, in the entire family. That's one big change I feel in 2 years. Or even outside when we go, we try to opt only for Jain food, or even go to restaurants which are completely veg. Even if the choices are less, the restaurants are not good, but we just try to go there only. Another thing is, I feel as a couple we have become more empathetic towards each other. Our communications have become more better, and we have got a lot of awareness, or maybe the consciousness that we are soul, we are not body. We are getting more closer to Krishna and trying to understand his plan, the things which are happening in life, trying to think at a broader perspective instead of just the local thing. So a lot has changed. Thank you.
Haribo. You described what has changed, but what inspired you to become sattvic?
I would say
No onion, no garlic, no egg.
As I mentioned, after being here, reading some scriptures, chanting, it automatically came. It was never a forced thing, or I tried to make a discipline or something. It just came automatically that, and I thought we should not cook in onion also now. We should stop egg also in bakery. It just came automatically. I don't know. I don't remember, okay, I made a deadline or some kind of restriction. It just came automatically.
Very nice, thank you. Of course, meat eating, I think it's obvious, but we'll probably have more discussion for some of you who need more explanation. Some people say egg has protein, meat has protein. Yes, that probably is true. And maybe it is helpful to you in the short term also. But of course, meat is known to increase heart attacks by 50%. So even in this own lifetime, meat does more harm than good. But more importantly, the spiritual consciousness actually goes down. Because when we kill a living entity, the emotions that it goes through, I mean, it is fearful, it is angry. So now, when we eat a dead body, so those emotions are transferred to us also. So we will also, people you will notice who eat meat, mostly they are also restless. They also feel anger, lusty, greedy. These emotions, because the food, we are what we eat. So when our food becomes sattvic in nature, our thoughts, our lifestyle, our speech, everything becomes sattvic also. So that's one of the reasons why slowly but surely, we are not behind your lunch and dinner today. But basically in general, think about, if you have more questions in this area on why no onion, no garlic, short answer is they are considered to be rajasic and tamasic food. So we become dull, restless when we consume those type of food. So we can have more discussions on that in future. But thank you for sharing. Okay, Priyanka ji has a thought.
Yeah, diet is one thing. I just started 4 weeks ago, so I haven't made any changes yet. But the earlier, like in this week, I was cooking something like meat, and it made me think. Oh, I just heard about it. Like to get closer to spirituality or to even start thinking right, I shouldn't be eating. So I was thinking twice. If I have to stop eating, like how much time do I need? So I was just thinking. It made me think. That's one thought. And the second thought is, we were always in this fast-paced environment, like Monday to Friday, work, and then what next? So I felt like I should slow down, take it slow. Don't run behind materialistic things. These are not permanent. So take a break, spend more time with family, kids, make memories. Don't just go for hikes, bonus, performance, these things, and don't go for more properties or more all that. Keep all that aside. Just think of having good memories. That's what was striking me with all these conversations. Like what you put into your brain is what comes out. So I used to watch a lot of Bollywood gossips, Hollywood. I stopped all that now. Like I'm like let's not feed all that into that brain. So started hearing to Sadhguru's like pravachans. I pretty much like it. So now I'm using that time to hear to all that conversations and all that. So small changes here and there. I just started making.
Thank you. It is mentioned before a table is made, a table must be first made in the mind of the creator. So first subtle change has to come, and then the gross manifestation will happen. So same thing happens in our life also. Our determination first builds, then you say, all right, I want to do this. And then you still may not be able to start it yet. And then the determination grows and grows and grows, and then it will come out and manifest. But some people, it may take few weeks, few months. But in the right association, if we have the right sincerity, then Krishna is willing to help. Help actually comes much faster. So, very happy, and thank you for sharing such personal things. It's very inspiring to hear. No change is easy. No change is easy. Especially those which we have been habituated to. So, but when we systematically understand, it's very amazing to see the changes, how they can bring positive change in our life. Thank you very much for sharing. Hare Krishna. Let us also welcome His Grace Sundaranand Prabhu with a loud Haribol. Haribol! Okay, we will take one more reflection while Prabhu takes darshan and takes asham. Please come forward. Hare Krishna. We were just discussing about how these sessions are helping them and how different lifestyle changes people are making and things like that. So if it's okay, then I'll maybe quickly introduce Sundaranand Prabhu. For many of you who he may be familiar, he's the one who kick-started this program 2 years ago.
Yes.
So we were having programs on Friday and Saturday. Prabhu is a very wonderful devotee. I mean, we see him all the time at the temple, and he's just blissfully smiling, happily chanting. Very easily satisfied personality. And we see how he has been practicing for more than 20 years, has been preaching Krishna consciousness all over Bay Area, Stanford, and many other places. Is amazing mentor also. He guides us in many ways. And I tell Prabhu that because he gave us the push 2 years ago, somehow, even though we are not qualified, somehow things have been going on by His kind mercy. So we are very happy to have him once in a while here, giving us the push that we need. So we will welcome him by chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll have a few question and answers. So you can, any question, ask me anything. So please feel free to get started. Any questions are okay? Of course. Beneficial, spiritual would be good. Prabhu also was, if you're asking what you ate in the lunch and things like that, we'll be happy to answer, but alright.
Anyway, you posted the picture, right? Of the lunch in the... Yes.
So my question is about the this karma thing. So basically, what we learned like in the last class is that whatever we do in this lifetime, if we do good karma, we can be like promoted to a different planetary system or whatever. Or if we do bad karma, we come back. So what I'm trying to understand is that why is it happen that we have to come back again to like balance it out? Why doesn't it happen the same lifetime? Because let's say somebody did something bad in his previous lifetime. In the current lifetime, that is beyond his control what he did in his previous lifetime, right? So he might be feeling like, okay, I'm just being screwed for no reason. So that is beyond his control. So if that person is giving an opportunity to fix that thing in the previous lifetime only, maybe that will be a better way to just balance it out everything and start fresh.
Okay. So, I mean, I see many different parts in the question. Can you like mention one part, and then we can go part by part.
So the part is that why does not the same person have to just balance out whatever bad karma he did in the same lifetime?
Yeah. So basically, I would start off with the verse in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Where Krishna says that he is talking about karma here. Yeah, I do. You have? So in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I will read the verse out to you. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. So karmano hi api bodhavya. Somebody was mentioning this verse? Okay. Yeah. So this is in the 4th chapter. So Krishna is saying, Karmano hi api bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, akarmanas cha bodhavyam, gahano karmano gatihi. So he says the intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Krishna himself is stating this actually. Therefore one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, what inaction is. I'm sure Sham Jagannath Prabhu would have covered the 3 kinds of actions, right? Karma, vikarma and akarma. So this is all coming from this particular verse. So Krishna says here the intricacies of action are very hard to understand because it's a complicated mesh, and sometimes we are able to correlate between the cause and the effect. Like for example, I'm sure there is going to be a wonderful dinner. And I really wish that I don't overeat. So sometimes, if there is very delicious or tasty food, we may commit the mistake of overeating. And then there are consequences that actually comes with that. So you can, or if you're, if you actually eat something that's not very healthy for you, if you eat outside, or if you, especially, from places which is not very hygienic and so on and so forth, and then, or if you eat too much spicy, then there is also a reaction that actually comes, with that particular kind of action. So many times we are able to correlate between the cause. Sometimes we are able to correlate between the cause and the effect. But because karma is such a complicated mesh, we will not be able to correlate, exactly between the cause and the effect. Because it involves, as you would have learned, it involves multiple lifetimes. And not only multiple lifetimes, think about it, it's just I perform an action and then the world reacts to that action. And then I react to that reaction. And then again, if there are multiple people involved, and then they all react to that particular reaction. And then suddenly there is this whole chain reaction that's going on. And think of, the chain reaction that's happening, with 8 billion people actually, that's performing action and reacting constantly, and every minute, every day, and so on and so forth. So it's really a complicated mesh of action and reaction that's actually taking place. And because our viewpoint is very limited to this one lifetime, it's very difficult to. The karmic, the action and reaction is not just happening with one, time reference. It's actually happening not just to one lifetime reference. It's actually happening, across not just so many action and reactions going on simultaneously, but it's also happening across many lifetimes. So it's a very, very complex, that's why Krishna is saying the intricacies of our actions are very hard to understand, because it's happening across many lifetimes. And also, so many times we are not able to see the correlation between the, cause and the effect, and that's when, and our vision is limited, to just not just one lifetime, but maybe a slice of that one lifetime. For example, if I asked you what you did, 2 weeks ago Saturday morning, we hardly remember what happened and what did we do and so on and so forth. So it's also a tiny slice of time that we remember actually, even in this lifetime. But what, of course, it's Krishna's mercy that actually we forget the previous life situations. Otherwise, our whole life will be chaotic. Because if you remember, and especially there are, Ian Stevenson, Dr. Ian Stevenson, I'm sure he would have mentioned, he records many cases of children recollecting their past life memories, and it's chaotic actually. It's traumatic, because a child actually going through, and especially this is a famous case where there is also a television show that was aired on ABC and other few channels actually, where they refer to the story of a boy who remembers his past life being an American soldier, and he basically flies a plane to attack the Japanese, and then his plane was shot down and he got killed during the World War II. And so he's reincarnated, and basically he's reborn in one of the families in the contemporary time. But then he goes through these past life memories, and he's going through this traumatic condition, remembering that how he was sitting in the plane and was shot down, and he screams, and he has all these dreams and screams in the night, but then he recollects such details of the experience that his parents were able to exactly understand what was happening, and then they were able to correlate to the past instances of where actually who he was, where he went to fight, where his plane was shot down, how it was shot down, and where he died, and so on and so forth. So Krishna actually is his mercy that he makes us forget all those episodes, because I mean if you remember all the millions of lifetimes or thousands of lifetimes how you died, or all the traumas that we experienced, we would go mad actually. So Krishna very mercifully makes us forget all those instances. But then the downside of that is that we will not be able to exactly correlate between the cause and effect, and even if you remember, we will not be able to, because it's just too traumatic to process it actually. So, and but that doesn't take away the point that we can actually understand that what is the problem that we have to fix. So generally when we go through many, sometimes reversals, we may go through reversals in our life, and that is the point when we will question that why is this happening to me, right? And that's probably the classical question: why do bad things happen to good person like me? Right? We don't say the same thing to others. Why is the good thing happening to the bad person like him? But then when it comes to us, very, very, very compassionate actually. I'm such a good person actually. Why is this bad thing happening to me? So, but the whole purpose of karma is to refine ourselves. Even though we may not be able to, so there are different kinds of memories. So memories in terms of, the details are one set of memories. And then memories in terms of the abstract understanding of the concepts is another set of memory. Like for example, let's say you learn a new concept in mathematics. And you are actually, going through a lot of problems, solving a lot of problems, and so on and so forth. Now, one level of memory is that you went through a certain set of problems with a certain set of problem statement, and the same problem appears in your exam, and you know exactly, okay, this is the answer that will come, and then this is exactly, how to solve this particular problem. Now, that is one level of memory. Another level of memory is to more abstract level is you understand the concept. Now you may not get the same, question with the same measurement, but you may, the question may be a little bit twisted. The question may be with little bit of different measurements, with little bit of, tweaks here and there. Now you cannot apply the same detail level memory to solve that problem. Now you have to go to a more abstract level of understanding of how the concepts work, and then you basically apply the concepts to help arrive at the solution for the problem. So, so karma also helps us to do that. So we have, so memories again. So the memories that we have are, even though we may not remember the details, but those abstract level of memories are still stored in the mind. And taking a little bit of self-awareness, so whenever we go through different problems in life, what do people ask? As I said, why me? So instead of asking the question, why me? If we turn around and ask the question, what is the lesson here? So that is what people actually fail to ask, is because our tendency is generally to play the victim card. But playing the victim card, leads us to no growth. It only, it only leads to self-pity, and it only leads to basically, being too self-absorbed to do anything useful about it actually. I mean, basically it's another way the ego plays it out. So, but if you ask the question, whenever we are going through some tough times or some reversals or some things that we don't like, then if you ask the question, what is the lesson here? And if you have that particular kind of attitude, and if you apply a little bit of self-awareness, and that's where spiritual practices like meditation, and especially mantra meditation, which we'll be talking about, in next few minutes. All these things help us to become more self-aware. All these things help us to have the right disposition. Then what happens is, we know exactly why this event is happening, and what is there for me, what is the lesson there for me in this particular life situation, and what is that I need to fix. So all those things will actually come to us if we have the right attitude. And that's why we also have spiritual mentors. Like for any aspect of life, we need to have a mentor. Like for finances or education, you're doing a PhD, you need advisors, mentors, and so on and so forth. So you have to have spiritual mentors who can actually help us to navigate the situation and help us to see how we can apply the different lessons of the Bhagavad Gita in that particular situation. So that we are actually, even though we don't have the details of why this is happening, but we know exactly what to do and how doing that will actually help us to grow from that particular situation. So that is never denied actually. So what I have to learn from this lesson and what I have to change, what I have to grow from this. So ultimately the laws of karma are there for our own refinement. Laws of karma are there for my own growth and to learn our lessons actually. So that is never denied, even though we don't remember all the details. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Yeah.
Can we give a round of applause for the green fire?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So Prabhu, Krishna has told us like we are not bodies, we are souls, right? But it's like, at least I find it very hard to even think about that. Like it's easy to understand as a concept, but to realize that in real life, like all the layers of identities I have. So what are some of the ways I can even think of myself as soul? Like how does that work? Like textual knowledge is fine, I get that, but how do I realize that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one is that is the difference. There are two terms in Sanskrit called Gyan and Vigyan. So Gyan means knowledge, and especially in the Bhagavad Gita deals with the spiritual knowledge actually. So Vigyan means realized knowledge. So as you yourself pointed out, those are two different things. Because initially, when we actually, so there are two, for a train to go on a track, there are two, lines actually, right? A railway track has two lines. And so then the train is able to move forward using those two lines, basically, that's the track. So similarly, to also progress in our spiritual life, we have to have two tracks. So one, not two tracks, two lines, which forms a track. So one line represents knowledge. And here, of course, the Bhagavad Gita is giving us the spiritual knowledge. And another line represents practice. So what we are looking for is realization on transformation. So let me give you an example, how these two work together to actually help us to realize, help us with realization and help us with actual transformation. So you go into a mall, right, a big mall, right, and you want to go to a particular shop. Let's say you want to go to the Apple store. I just went to fix my Mac actually. So what do you do when you don't know, you're going to the mall for the first time? What do you want to see when you enter the mall? Map. Right? Because there is a big board, right, that displays actually all the different stores that are there in all the different places. And then it also says you are here. It shows you are here, and then it shows the complete map of the layout of the mall, the layout of the land, as they say. So you know exactly, this is where I am, and this is where I have to go, this is where the store is, and this is the direction I need to take. So that is what a map gives you, right? So that is like knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita is giving you the map or the layout of the land. So Bhagavad Gita is giving you, what does it give you? It gives out a complete map. It says you are here. You are here in this material world. And then it gives out a complete layout. Okay, this is the material world, of course, Shyam Jagannath Prabhu may not have covered this, but this is the spiritual realm, this is the material realm, this is how the material realm works, this is the layout of the land. So it gives us complete knowledge of how everything is laid out. Now just having the map alone is not, is it good enough? Is it good enough? That is like, understanding the knowledge in theory. That is not good enough. We need to actually, take that map and use that map to go from a point to another point so that we can accomplish our goals. And that's where the practice comes into play. And that's where theoretical knowledge becomes a realization, is when you apply it with the practice. And those are the two tracks, two lines of a track, where it's knowledge and practice, knowledge and practice. And that's why you need spiritual knowledge to understand the layout of the land. And you need spiritual practice to basically digest that knowledge and turn into realization. And when you apply both hand in hand, then as the train moves forward, so similarly we also progress in our spiritual journey. Like that. So you take the knowledge of the map and you then go from places to place, and then finally you get to the point of reaching, the Apple store or whatever store you want to reach. So similarly, Krishna is giving us all this knowledge, and we take the practice, spiritual practice, to go from, one milestone to another, ultimately reaching the spiritual perfection that we want to achieve. And that's what turns jnana into vijnana, the practice. And especially the practice of the, I don't know how much he has introduced, but the practice, especially the practice that we do, is the practice of mantra meditation. Hare Krishna. It's a very simple practice. Anybody can do it, but it has to be applied very strictly. That's what I've learned from my teachers. It's a simple path, but it has to be applied very seriously, strictly and consistently. And when we do that, then we can actually transform Gyan into Vijnana. I hope that helps.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? There was the same question. Okay. Great minds think alike.
Maybe this can be a little bit abstract. But I think in last lecture we were covering that, like, at one point everybody was in the spiritual realm, and then we, kind of wanted to have our own thing, and then that's why we came here. So I was wondering what led to that.
Yeah, that's a nice question. It's a very nice question. So there are multiple ways we can look at that. So Krishna says, maybe I will quote the verse later, but I'll give you an example. I will give you an instance from the Ramayana, which actually the Acharyas have also used that to actually give us a philosophical lesson. So this is actually the instance from Ramayana where Mother Sita and Lord Ram and Mother Sita are in the forest, living in the forest. And of course then Marich actually comes, Ravana and Marich actually collaborate. Not collaborate, Ravana forces him. And then he had no choice but to basically do his bidding. And then he becomes a golden deer. And then basically he comes there to try to distract Lord Ram so that actually Ravana can kidnap Mother Sita and so on and so forth. So in the Ramayana, the Acharyas, Vaishnava Acharyas have very beautifully explained. Of course, Mother Sita is a divine mother. Lord Ramachandra is the supreme Lord. But then to derive some lessons, philosophical lessons, especially for us, they have asked us to think, Mother Sita here also represents a living entity. So, Mother Sita was very happy in the association of Lord Ram. She was completely, chaste, and she was, completely absorbed in serving Lord Ram and having this wonderful relationship with Lord Ram. But then when the deer came, then what actually enveloped her mind is actually the desire to possess the deer. Even though she was in the association, of course she is divine mother, you cannot bring her, place down. In fact, it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually, it was not Mother Sita that Lord Ravana captured, because she is divine mother. How can a demon like Ravana touch her? Actually, when she passes through the fire, it is actually Vedavati. Anyway, there is another backstory to it actually. But here you can see Mother Sita represents the living entity. The living entity, even though he or she may be in the association of the Lord, because of the free will or misuse of the free will, they may get captivated by something other than the Lord. Like how in this particular case, even though Mother Sita was actually in the association of Lord Ram, was completely happy and it, completely fulfilling experience she was having in the association as her very dear husband, but still she was captivated by the deer. So the moment we get captivated by any thing other than the association of the Lord, or the desire to be with the Lord, so at the moment we get captivated by a thing that is separate from the Lord, then what happens is, then immediately we come under the curb of the mind and the 10 senses. So because in the story, of course, we understand that Mother Sita was actually, the moment she desired that deer, because Lord Ram went after to capture the deer, but then she immediately came under the control of Ravana. She was immediately kidnapped and came under the control of Ravana. And now what Ravana represents? Ravana represents the mind. And his 10 heads represent what? The 10 senses. The 10 senses means the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and then the 5 working senses. So Mother Sita immediately came under the control of the mind and the senses. And then Ravana, of course, abducted her from the association of Lord Ram, and then he basically took her to Lanka, which is basically the material world, and which represents the material world, of course. And then Ravana kept harassing Mother Sita. Every instance he found, actually, he kept harassing her. He kept, he kept pushing her limits. He kept, basically ill-treating her again and again and again. So similarly, when we come under the control of the mind and the senses, basically the mind and the senses, they harass us. They demand more and more from us. How much ever we try to serve the mind and the senses, they're basically very bad masters. They are never satisfied. They keep harassing us again and again. They keep demanding from us again and again. All the senses, you would have seen the example of a chariot, right? Where the horses are actually the senses, the reins are the mind, and then they're all pulling us in all different directions actually. And this Rupa Goswami very nicely says, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, Udraupasta Vegam, Etan Vegan, Yovishahita Dhiraha, Sarvam Apimam Prativimsa Sashyad. He says all these Vegas are harassing us. Vacho Vegam, there's urge to speak. Many times, I'm sure you would have experienced, you don't want to say something and then you said it. Right? Vacha Vegam, there is the urge to speak. And then there is Manasa Krodha Vegam, there's the urge of the anger. And then there's anger that comes, and then we speak, insulting words, or we, physically become violent and so on and so forth. So anger can take us over. Then Manasa Krodha Vegam, Manasa Vegam, the urges of the mind pushes us in so many different directions to basically, we fall a victim to the mind and the senses, demands of the mind and the senses, and that's how the mind and the senses harass us, like how Ravana harassed Mother Sita. But of course, she was very strong and chaste. Even though he kidnapped her, she didn't fall a prey to or victim to Ravana. So that is also that is our condition. And the story progresses, and then because she was sincere, so of course here she is representing the living entity. The living entity is sincere and still wants to go back to the Lord, even though it desires something other than the association of the Lord. It desires something, to enjoy something separate from the Lord, and due to which the consequence of that is that it came under the control of the mind and the senses. And struggling now in the material world with the mind and the senses. So Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha, Manashashtani Indriyani, Prakritistani Karshati. All the living entities, Krishna says, they are my part and parcels. But they are now all struggling in this world due to the 6 senses, which includes the mind. Of course, Krishna here is talking about the 5 knowledge acquiring senses and the 6th sense, which is the mind. So, karshati, they are struggling so hard in this material world. They're all, but they are supposed to have a blissful life in association with me. But then all these living entities are not. So Krishna is very unhappy about it actually. That all these are my Aham Bija Pradapita, Krishna says. I am the seed-giving father. I am the supreme father of all these living entities, but they have walked away from me, and now they are struggling in this material world, struggling so hard with the 6 senses, which includes the mind. So that is our condition. So the living entity can still be very, very sincere. The living entities can still, even though we are struggling so hard, we may be crying out, "Oh my Lord, when will you come and deliver?" So Mother Sita was praying like that, "When will you come and deliver me from this harassment of Ravana, kill this demon Ravana and all his associates," and so on and so forth. So that is when the Guru appears. So when somebody is still sincere and wants to turn, we get captured by the influence of Maya when we turn our face away from the Lord. So this explains the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when we turn our face away from the Lord and get attracted by something other than the Supreme Lord, then we get captured by the influence of Maya through the agency of the mind and the senses. But then when we understand that nothing is working out, I want to go back to my loving association with the Supreme Lord. I want to turn my face back to the Supreme Lord. So when that sincere desire develops, then the Lord himself arranges for the Guru to appear. So the Guru in this case is Hanumanji. So the Lord actually sends his representative to rescue the conditioned living entity. In this case, of course, Mother Sita. So then he sends all his representative in all directions to see whoever is sincere, so that they can be actually brought back to him. So Hanumanji arrives and he is representing the Guru Tattva. And then what does Hanumanji do? Then Hanumanji gives hope. It's not all hopeless. So of course at that time Mother Sita was almost ready to commit suicide. She was contemplating suicide because she was thinking, when will the Lord come? When will I be freed from this harassment of Ravana, the demon, and all his associates? Then the Lord sends the Guru. Then Hanumanji comes and then he recites the whole Ramayana, shortened version of it, and then he gives hope to her and says that the Lord is going to arrive very quickly and is going to deliver you. You should just hang in there. And then of course he himself offers to rescue, but then she says, "No, I want the Lord to come and rescue." Then Hanumanji goes back to the Lord and then he mediates and then he gives information, Mother Sita is here. So you can replace Mother Sita to the condition of a living entity. So the Guru actually then he becomes the medium and he basically negotiates with the Lord, because the Guru is is a confidential associate of the Lord, and he is in that position where the Lord has empowered him to make those decisions. And then the Guru basically argues on the behalf of the conditioned soul that he is a sincere soul, you should actually accept. Even though they may have faults and so on and so forth, the Guru actually gives hope to the conditioned living entity. He also tells the Supreme Lord that he is a qualified living entity, who is ready to come back into your association, like that. So, and of course, then the Lord comes, and then when the Lord appears, when we take to the practice, so the Guru not only gives us hope, he also gives us the practice, he also gives us the knowledge, and so on and so forth. So when we take and apply that practice, apply that knowledge, then we progress in our spiritual life, then the Lord himself will come and destroy the Ravana within our own heart, which basically represents our mind and the senses. So then the living entity becomes freed, and the living entity becomes reunited with the Lord, and then goes back to the original constitutional position in this world itself, and then eventually goes back to the spiritual kingdom, which is called as Vaikuntha. So with this particular analogy, we can understand that because there is the existence of free will, we have, even if we are in the association of the Lord, we can still if we get carried away by something other than the association of the Lord, then we can come into the influence of Maya. Hope that. But the process is very simple. The Lord, we have to just invite the Lord into our heart. We have turned our face away from the Lord. Just have to invite Him back into our hearts, and the best way to do it is to chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By chanting the holy name of the Lord, we are actually bringing the Lord back into our heart. And then when the Lord comes and enters our heart, then He kills, all the obstacles and all the enemies of the soul, and releases the soul from this conditioned nature and captivity, and then liberates the living entity like that. So this is the whole process of Bhakti Yoga. We take shelter of the Lord, and then the Lord, our part is to take shelter of the Lord, and the Lord's part is to do the rest. It's like this. The Bhakti Yoga process is, there are different yoga systems. Of course, I think Prabhu will cover this, in the coming weeks. There is different kinds of yoga terms we have seen, right? Karma Yoga is there, Jnana Yoga is there, Raja Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. There are all different kinds of yoga process. And all these different kinds of yoga process, you can compare it to two examples. One example is a monkey. How a monkey child actually, do you know how a monkey child is carried from one place to another by the mother monkey? And then the other example, you compare and contrast with how a cat actually carries its kitten. A cat or a tiger or any of the cat family, how it carries its kitten, do you know? Yeah, through the mouth, actually. So who has more responsibility, the mother or the kitten? The mother. The mother has more responsibility, because the kitten has to just lay idle, not do anything, as the mother is carrying from one place to another. Right? And so that is the process of Bhakti Yoga, where we completely depend on the Lord, we call out to the Lord, and then the Lord makes all the arrangements. Krishna says this very beautifully. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam prati purvakam dathami buddhi yogam tam yena mam payanti te. So Krishna says, Tesham satata yuktanam, as somebody who is devoted to me, Sasata, always devoted to me, bhajatam prati purvakam, is worshipping me with full faith. Dadhami buddhi yogam tam. Krishna says, I personally give them the intelligence. I personally give them the intelligence so that they can come to me. So Krishna personally takes care of his devotees, actually. Like how a mother cat actually takes care of the kitten and transferring from place A to place B. Similarly, Krishna personally takes care of his devotees, helping them, releasing them from the clutches of this material world and taking them back home, back to Godhead. And then the other example is that of a monkey. Who takes more responsibility? When a monkey child, moves from place A to place B, who takes more responsibility, the mother or the child? Child. So the child has to hold on to the mother monkey. The child, catches it very loosely, and it's jumping from one branch to another. The child can fall, because the sole responsibility falls on the shoulder of the small monkey, the child monkey, actually. So that is so one process is you have complete dependence on the Lord, and the Lord carries for you. The other process is you have dependence on your own strength, and if you make a mistake, you fall down. So that is actually the difference between all other yoga systems and the Bhakti Yoga process, where we exclusively take shelter of the Lord, and the Lord carries us all the way to spiritual perfection. Nice question. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll start asking questions.
You mentioned multiple things, Bhakti versus the other yogas.
Right.
Is there a preferred one, or like Is there like one is superior over the other?
Yeah, I mean, in short, yes, one is superior over the other. Because in all the other yoga systems, we don't so much depend on don't depend on the Supreme Lord so much. But in Bhakti Yoga, we depend, and that dependence is a strength actually. So it becomes very easy. Krishna says, I am a swift deliverer from the Mrityu Samsara Vartmani, from the cycle of birth, and then I become a swift deliverer for my devotees. Ananyas Chintayantomam Yajana Paripasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Hamem. Again, Krishna says the same thing. One who is exclusively devoted to me, I carry for them what they lack and I preserve what they have. So, it's like, there are two employees. Let me give you an IT example. Then we will be able to understand it better. So there are two employees, and one employee, of course. I mean, this is not morally right, but just to give an example, to one employee the manager says, don't worry, just do whatever you can. The rest I will take care. I'll finish with the help of others. I'll make sure you get a promotion this year. The other employee says, try working hard. Let's see what I can do, right? I mean, if he has if the manager or the director or the CEO shows some favoritism towards you, then employee A, who's receiving that favoritism, is obviously in a better position than employee B, who's not receiving that favoritism. And that favoritism is also happening because there is a specific relationship between that living entity and the Supreme Lord. That is actually in the form of bhakti, the process of bhakti. And Krishna, you can see this again and again in Mahabharata. Krishna sides with his devotees all the time. He shows his exclusive mercy to his devotees actually. Time and again he comes actually to the rescue of the Pandavas. Time and again he comes to the rescue of the Vrajavasis. So Krishna is tilted. Even though he says, Samoham Sharva Bhuteshu, I don't envy anyone and I'm not partial to anyone. But Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dvesho Sthana Priyaha Ye Bhajanti Tvamam Bhaktya Mahiteshu Chapyaham. So Krishna says, I'm actually, I'm equal to everyone. I'm not partial to anybody. But a devotee considers, that I'm his friend. And then I'm also a friend to him. But if somebody considers that he is a friend to me, then I also consider them as a friend. But in general, Krishna stays neutral with everyone. But the moment one starts, approaching Krishna, approaching Krishna and starts to become a devotee, then Krishna starts to take notice of them, and he gives special attention to them. But in general, otherwise, Krishna is neutral. And that's why bhakti works, in miraculous ways, because when you have Krishna's favor, then you just make rapid advancement. It's like if you have manager's favor, you make rapid promotions. The same principle. So we can see how to get into good books of Krishna. Anyway, that's a different topic. I'm digressing a little bit here. But I think all these different topics will be covered in the coming weeks in great detail by Shyam Jagannath Prabhu. I don't want to give the spoilers. Any other questions? So I can see, anybody explain to me how does transmigration happens? How does transmigration happens?
Through sushma, through my subtle body.
To the subtle
subtle body has three characteristics like mind, false ego, and one more I forgot. So through that, and karma, result of the karma is carried over through subtle body, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, very nice, beautiful. Yeah, That's the correct answer. Let me show you a verse from the Bhagavad Gita.
There I had a question,
Okay.
but I don't know it's good. So, how
Let me
do
just
I-
show you the verse, and then we can go to the question. So Krishna says beautifully in the chapter 6, is chapter 8, verse number 6. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam chadit ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. So the consciousness at the time of death determines what our future destination will be. So it's a combination of our consciousness, our desires, and of course, when I say consciousness, it just encompasses everything. It encompasses our desires, it encompasses our attachments, our aversions, and so on and so forth. It encompasses everything. So our mental state at the time of death, combining with the principle of karma, determines our future destination. And we are then given a particular kind of body to try to enjoy in that particular body, in that particular life situation, according to the desires we have, that we have carried over from our previous lives. And the same verse Krishna also says, Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prati samadbhavam yati nashti atra samshayaha. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. At once, he goes to the spiritual kingdom. Actually, one thinks about Krishna at the time of death. He goes back home to Vaikuntha. In fact, Kunta means what? Miseries. Who said that? Yeah, Kunta means miseries. And this world is called as Kunta, full of miseries actually. We are being fried here. I don't know if it's deep roast or shallow fry, but that's I think according to our karma. Somebody is getting shallow fried, some people are getting deep fried, but everybody is getting fried. That is the nature of this material world. It's a miserable place. Krishna also says that Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam means full of misery. Alayam. What does Alayam means? Abode. Yeah, Granthalaya. Right? Granthalaya means what? Granth. Library. So this is Dukkhalaya. Storehouse of misery. And then Asashvatam is temporary in nature. Of course, the term misery itself is arising because everything is temporary in nature. But then Vaikuntha means no miseries. Free of all miseries. That's in the spiritual kingdom. There is a spiritual world, spiritual realm. So Krishna says, whoever at the end of life quits his body remembering me alone. And that takes a lot of practice. And that's what the whole practice of the Bhakti Yoga is to. Of course, this is the life's biggest examination is death. This is the biggest examination. Of course, we may have many examinations before that, but they are all trial runs only. The final exam that we all have to appear, equal opportunity, right? They have this note, right? Equal employment opportunities. So similarly, equal opportunity for everyone is to appear at the exam of death. And what is our mental state? How prepared are we to face death? And that is actually explained in this verse. If you are able to cultivate this consciousness, which is Krishna consciousness, to be absorbed in Krishna, and that is also Krishna says in the Nam. In fact, there are only two verses which is actually repeated twice in Bhagavad Gita, almost to the same. The last line may differ, but almost to the same extent. Two verses are repeated in the Bhagavad Gita. One is Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mav Evashi Satyante Pratijani Priyosime. So this particular verse is actually repeated in two places, one in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and one in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So it has to be important, right? Krishna has repeated it twice. Almost all verbatim. Maybe some words are changed here and there, but almost verbatim. So what does Krishna say here? Always think of me. This is Krishna's advice to all of us. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Become my devotee. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Offer your, obeisances to me. Namaskuru. Mam eva shi satyam te pratidhane priyosime. So yeah, think of me, become my devotee, offer your obeisance unto me. And in this way, you will, if you practice this in your life, you will surely come back to me. That's what Krishna is guaranteeing to Arjuna. And he repeats this verse twice. And you may say, oh, that sounds too much. But some people will say, oh, that sounds so simple actually. That depends on your mindset. It's simple for the simple, it's complex for the complex. But this is the essence of all advice. In fact, that's what Padma Purana says. The essence of all advice is always remember Krishna. You can repeat after me. Always remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. So this is this is the essence of all advice. And then the Padma Purana says all the other instructions are subservient to these two instructions, which is always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. And that's the essence. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eva shisi satyam te pratijani priyosime. I'm telling you this, Krishna says, this is the most confidential knowledge, Arjuna. Such a beautiful. Krishna is pouring his heart out actually. You want to hear what is in Krishna's heart? That is what he is pouring. And almost the see here, this is what Krishna says. Sarva guyatamam bhuya shunme paramam vacha ishtonoshi me dhritam iti tato vakshyami hetam. Saying this, Arjuna, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction. This Krishna telling actually. Is pouring his heart out to his friend. The most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your own benefit. And then what is the verse that follows after that? The verse that we just talked about. Manmana, you can repeat after me. Manmana bhava madbhakto. Manmana bhava madbhakto. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishyasi satyam te. Mame vaishyasi satyam te. Pratijhane priyosime. Pratijhane priyosime. Always think of me. Always, we can read it together. Always think of me. Become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage to me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. So we can also take Krishna as our very dear friend, and if you are able to apply these instructions, then we'll be able to do this at the end of our life. Think about Krishna at the end of our life, and then we'll be perfecting our life at that point actually. And of course the question I'll ask you to allow you to ask the questions. Sorry, you had a question? You forgot it.
Can you go to the verse that reflect the same thing in the 9th chapter?
Oh, the 9th chapter? That's the final, yeah. It's almost verbatim. Maybe a few words are different. I think it's 934. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam eva shasi yuktva ivam atmanam parayana. Krishna says, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisance unto me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. This is 934. You had another question?
I can ask a question. Yeah. I'm not able to distinguish between punya karma and akarma. Are they same or they're different?
They are different.
Can you please give some example?
Yeah, I can give you an example. So just going to the question, I just want to clarify one thing. People may think, we don't, all Krishna is saying here, always think of me, worship me. Then what about office? Did any of you have that question?
Yes.
Do you want to know the answer for that question?
While doing work, remember Krishna.
Yeah, that is also a beautiful, that's a beautiful answer, yes. Yeah, so to answer that particular question, of course Krishna says, Yeah, that to what Mataji was telling actually. So that's one response to that particular question, which is again from the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. A beautiful verse. That's why Krishna says. So Krishna doesn't say to Arjuna, you just drop everything and go to the forest. In fact, Arjuna wanted to do that, but Krishna said no. You have to do your duty. And how you have to do your duty? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Tasmat sarveshu ma manusmara yudhyacha. Mayar pito mano buddhir. Mam eva ishyasya samshayaha. Therefore, Arjuna, Krishna is telling, the Lord Krishna is telling this. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. So, we have to integrate both our material and spiritual life into Krishna consciousness, basically. So, we have to Sthaning sthiti shrudigatam manobhir. So the Bhagavatam verse says that you don't have to change, any of your circumstance, but what you have to do is you have to add an element of Krishna into your life. You have to add all of you have added this element of Krishna into your life by starting to come to this program and having the association of devotees and reading the Bhagavad Gita and slowly getting into the spiritual practices and so on and so forth. So you have to keep adding that element of Krishna into our lives. As we keep adding that element of Krishna into our lives and continue to perform our duties, material duties that we have, slowly what will happen is we'll become more and more absorbed in Krishna. And even the material duties when we are performing, we'll be able to dedicate it as an offering to Lord Krishna. So that is the Acharyas explained that we may not, in the initial stages, we may not be able to think of Krishna all the time. We may not be able to, worship him all the time and so on and so forth. But what we can do is at least we can do once a day. At least we can do for some time. We can start our devotional practices by applying it every day, by dedicating some amount of time to these practices every day. And by doing that, actually we are beginning on the path where the ultimate perfection of that path is that we will be able to think of Krishna all the time at some point during our spiritual journey, as we progress in our spiritual journey. So how do we start? Beginning on that path is we start with applying the Bhakti Yoga practices every day. Applying the Bhakti Yoga practices every day. For how much our time you can actually dedicate to the practice of chanting, to the practice of reading the Bhagavad Gita and so on and so forth. You try to apply that every day. If you think that you can start by giving 20 minutes every day, chant for some time, and of course I think you have a great Shyam Jagannath Prabhu also has a morning call group and so on and so forth. So if you're able to dedicate some time every day to the spiritual practices, that's how we start. And then as we progress on this journey, we'll be slowly able to contemplate our Krishna more and more. Okay. I only asked the question and answered the question. So I'm going to clap for myself. So yes, you had another question. Oh yeah.
That one, Punya Karma and Akarma.
Yeah, Punya Karma. What is the difference between Punya Karma and Akarma? Yes. So that's why Krishna calls three categories of activities. There is karma, vikarma, and then akarma. So karma and vikarma are actually two sides of the same coin. So they are both enacted on the material plane. So when we act on the material plane with attachment to some results, following the codes of conduct that is given in the Vedas, then that becomes karma. But it's still pursuing material desires, fulfillment of material desires in a pious way. So when we try to enjoy in this material world, when we have material desires and we try to fulfill those materials in a pious manner, that creates good karma. When we try to fulfill those desires in a dharmic manner, then that creates negative karma or vikarma. But then that is all enacted in the material platform. So you do good deeds thinking that you'll gain some good results. Like for example, people may want, to give, in the olden days it used to be that people used to perform yajna to actually attain heavenly planets. Because that's a promotion to the Swarga Loka, heavenly planets, where you can actually enjoy in a more refined way. And nowadays you can think, okay, I want to donate something so that my name actually gets published in the newspaper, or I become very famous, or they put a plaque of my name on the board of the temple, or so I can do some good deeds with expectations of material results, and then that can lead to actually punya karma, right? So it is still in the material realm only. It's like you work hard, right? You work hard throughout the year, and then you earn a lot of money. Now you can actually, now you have enough money to go on a vacation, right? So now you can use those credits or money to go on a vacation in Hawaii and so on and so forth. I mean, not sure whether H1B people can do now or not. But so the results that you've earned through your hard work is what is called as, you can compare it to that of punya karma. So you've earned enough credits, now you can use those credits to enjoy better in life. So that is what punya karma is used for. The problem with that is Krishna says, Shiniya punya mrityu lokam vishanti. You can go on a vacation to Hawaii, but it has to end at some point. Your manager may call and say, I think you had enough of vacation, come back to work. So you can actually enjoy those pious credits by enjoying in a more refined way. But then when those pious credits are over, when your actually savings are down, then you have to come back to Bay Area and then get back to work when all those credits are over. So that's how punya karma works. So you do good deeds and then you reap good benefits from it, and then you enjoy for those good benefits. But then when all those good benefits are over, then you come back actually to the material plane. So Krishna says this in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Shine punya mrityu lokam vishanti. So when one has a lot of pious credits, he goes to heavenly planets, he enjoys for a certain amount of time until the credits allow. The credits are over. It's like, when you go into the arcade game, right? They give you one card, right? And then you have credits. Okay, I can play as much as I want as long as there's credits. So you can go and play in the heaven, as much as you want as long as there's credits. And then the credit is over, they push you down. Shine punyam mrityu lokam vishanti. You again come back to this bhuloka actually. So that is how good karma works. So you get high birth, you get, some people are born into rich family, some people are, they have good parentage, they are born into with beautiful bodies, they are rich, they're born with a silver spoon, as they say. So these are all results of good karma, but still it's on the material plane. So good karma also binds us. Binds us to what? If you do good benefits on the material platform for your own enjoyment, then you have to come back to enjoy it. Sorry sir, just because you perform good karma doesn't mean you get out of the cycle of birth and death. Bad karma means it entangles you and creates a very distressful condition in your life. Good karma means it still entraps you, but it creates good conditions in your life. It's like, sometimes we go to in the prison house, right? Sometimes these politicians get caught actually, and then they go to the prison house. But what kind of a prison cell they get? They get a very different kind of prison cell, right? Not the ordinary prison cell. They get a prison cell with TV, with high good facility, with lunch, dinner according to the menu, according to the choice they have, and so on and so forth. And then of course there is ordinary prisoners who are actually rotting in the prison cell, who's getting, a very ordinary facilities in the prison house. So one gets a good facility, one gets a poor facility, but it's all within the prison house. So that is what good karma and bad karma does to us. So good karma gives us good facilities, but we are still in the prison house of the material world. And bad karma gives us bad facilities, but we are still in the prison house of this material world. So this is what good karma and bad karma leads us to, and that what so it distinguishes from the akarma viewpoint. Now let me ask a question back. So both Arjuna and Duryodhana were fighting, correct? In the battle of Kurukshetra, both Arjuna and Duryodhana were fighting. So externally, they were doing the same activity. But then what is the difference? Externally, they were both doing the same activity. So if you see from an external viewpoint, it's the same activity. But then is there any difference in their activity?
One is doing for dharma, one is doing for adharma.
Right. Mataji made a very good point here. So even though the activity externally looks the same, but Arjuna is fighting for what? Arjuna is fighting for on the side of dharma, and especially Arjuna is fighting for Krishna because Krishna wanted him to fight. Right in the beginning of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says, I am not interested in the three worlds, let alone the kingdom of Hastinapur. Right? I am not interested in this kingdom. I don't want this kingdom. I am not interested even in the three worlds. Three worlds means Bhu and Bhuvar and Swa. I don't want to, occupy anything. I'm not interested in them. I'm not interested in anything material. So Arjuna says right in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, but then still why he fought? He fought for a higher cause. He fought for a higher purpose. He fought for pleasing Krishna. He fought for fulfilling the desire of Krishna to re-establish the principles of religion. Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir. Why does Krishna appear? Krishna says, why am I appearing? I am appearing to fulfill some of these purposes. One of the purposes, Yada yada hi dharmasya. I am appearing to basically re-establish the principles of religion. And that is one of the reasons why Lord Krishna appears. And so Arjuna fought for Krishna to establish on the side of dharma, to re-establish Krishna's mission, which is to re-establish the principles of dharma. And why did Duryodhana fight? Yeah, for his own self, for his own desires, to basically destroy Pandavas, to usurp the whole kingdom and to destroy the Pandavas. So one is fighting for Krishna and one is fighting for his own desires. So when one does things for his own material desires, for his own selfish causes, then that will result in karma, whether good or bad. But when one does for a higher purpose, when one does for a higher cause, for the satisfaction of my superiors, of my teacher, of Krishna, then that becomes a karma. And that action actually does not have any material reactions, neither good or bad. It becomes a spiritual activity and it helps one grow spiritually. Is that okay? No, that's my signal actually from Jagannath Prabhu.
I got complaints from kids that they want to come out sooner.
Okay.
If possible, maybe we can.
Yeah. You had one more. Just
follow on that. How to make that action pleasing Krishna? Because you said Arjuna.
No, that's where we have to start with the spiritual practice.
Okay.
When we begin with the spiritual practice, then slowly, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual teacher, as we are practicing, then slowly we can come to understand what pleases Krishna. How can I act now to please Krishna? How can I align my actions? How can I align my desires in Krishna consciousness? All those things are great art, and we can learn that art under the guidance of our spiritual teachers, our guides, mentors, and of course the instructions from Lord Krishna and our own spiritual practices. Yeah. Just one final point I wanted to say to add to that was that, like how in a war, a soldier basically kills, many of the enemies, but then he is not held responsible for killing all those enemies. Who takes that responsibility? The country. The country actually takes the responsibility for the soldier's actions, because the soldier is acting on behalf of the country. And so that's the example of akarma, where because you're acting on a higher purpose for a spiritual cause, under the guidance of spiritual mentors and teachers, then that activity becomes spiritualized, and then it no more creates good or bad karma, but it becomes akarma. But then if the same soldier goes on his own and shoots some people, without the government orders, then who's held responsible for the killing? The soldier. So when we act on our own independently, that's what the conditioned souls do in the material world. We all act whatever the way we want, right? With no questions asked, we would like to act the way we want. And then we then ask, why am I suffering? So when we act independently, without any guidance, when we act on our own, then we are responsible for our own actions and reactions, and that's when the good karma and bad karma comes to play. But when we act under the guidance of the spiritual guides and the instructions of the parampara and instructions of the Supreme Lord, then we're acting under the spiritual platform where there is no karma. Then I hope that helps. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So we will talk about chanting.
Would you like to say 2 minutes?
2 minutes. In fact, that was my main presentation. So, let's see. Yeah, I can try to do it in 2 minutes.
I said few minutes.
A few minutes. So this is a short presentation, a few minutes presentation. It is undefined for now. On the glories of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There's a beautiful verse in the Shastakam which basically talks about the 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. This is the Yuga Dharma actually. Harer Nama Kevalam. Kalau nasteva 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 gatiranyata. There is no other means except for the chanting the holy names of the Lord, chanting the holy names of the Lord, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Of course, this is also corroborated in many other scriptures. The Bhagavatam talks about how there are different processes in different yugas. There are prescribed processes in different yugas. So, Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu, Tretayam Yajito Makare, Dwaprayam, Paricharyayam, Kalau Hari Kirtanam. So there are 4, there are different processes that's recommended in different ages. Treta, Satya Yoga meditation, Treta Yoga Yajna, Dwapara Yoga deity worship, and Kali Yuga actually Harinam Sankirtan. So Harinam Sankirtan is a prescribed method for this particular age. And there's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam now. Kaler dosha niderachan asthihi eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajed. So it says Kaler dosha. Sukadeva Goswami is saying, Kali Yuga is the ocean of faults. We can understand that. We can see how chaotic, the atmosphere is. Kalir dosha nidhirajan astihi eko mahan gunan. But still, even though it's such a yuga filled with doshas, still one good quality is there in Kali Yuga. What is that? Kirtanad eva krishnasya. By this Krishna kirtan, mukta sangha param rajit, one can attain all perfection. So still there is one good thing in Kali Yuga, which is Kirtanad eva krishnasya. It's a very simple process, because Kali Yuga, if you give too complex, people get too stressed out actually. People are already too stressed out, right? If you give a very complicated process, they may, hardly anybody is even interested in spirituality, right? Prayena alpa aisha sabya kalavasman yugejana mandasu mandamantyo mandabhagi upadritaha. People have, prayena alpa aisha, people have short lives, short memory, everything, short, instant food, instant gratification. Everything is short-lived in Kali Yuga. Manda sumanda matayo. And especially people in this age of Kali, they are dull. Dal means they are not really interested in spirituality. They are just absorbed in something so mundane and materialistic. Manda Sumanda Matya, Manda Bhagya, on top of that, they are all unfortunate. Caught, stuck in the traffic of 101 and 880. Manda Bhagya Upadrita. Very. So this is the unfortunate nature of the Kali Yuga, but still, there is one good quality. There is hope. There is silver lining. How to make, what they say? Good, what is it? How to make the best of the bad bargain, actually. So, but still there is one good thing in Kali Yuga, which is Krishna, Kirtana Deva Krishna se Mukta Sangha Paramajya. This will give us all perfection. And so this is how it will give us perfection. This is the 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtana that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his first verse of Sastakam wrote, or he recited. So the verse goes like this: Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So this is the first verse of Shashtakam. I will quickly now just go over them. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. These are the 7 effects of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. First, cleanses the mirror of the mind. It cleanses the mirror because our mind is filled with so much of dust and dirt. So much so that it doesn't truly reflect who we are. Right? If the mirror is covered with so much of dust, then if you look in the mirror, will you be able to see your true image? No, you'll not be able to see your true self. You'll not be able to see true image. So the mind is actually covered with all the different enemies of the soul. There are 6 enemies: Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya. There are so many dirt that is actually filled in our mind, and that is actually preventing us to actually understanding our true nature, which is actually the spiritual nature. It prevents us from understanding our true nature. So what is the first effect of the Harinam Sankirtan? It cleanses the mirror of the mind. In fact, the word mantra means, of course, mantra, trayate iti mantra. Mantra means man means the mind and tra means to free, to relieve. Actually, it relieves the mind of all the negativity, stress, anxiety, all it the lower nature. It relieves the mind of all the lower propensities and frees the mind and elevates our consciousness. In fact, that's the word mantra means. Trayate iti mantra. So it cleanses the mirror of the mind and elevates our consciousness. And that's the first effect. The second effect is Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam, extinguishes the forest fire of material existence. So we are all, as I was talking before, we are all getting fried here in the material existence. And extinguishes the fire of, how are we getting fried? The Tapatraya, he was talking, the 3 kindfold miseries, right? Do you all remember from the previous sessions? The 3, Adhyatmika, Adidevika and Adibhaudika, the 3-fold miseries. So they are frying us left and right. And then it extinguishes this forest fire of material existence. It is completely like how there is a forest fire and then it's blazing and burning the whole forest down, but then when there are clouds in the sky and then there's a heavy downpour of rain, then what happens is it extinguishes the fire of the forest fire. So similarly, the holy name can actually extinguish this forest fire of material existence by pouring down the rain of mercy upon our lives. And then Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidanam. It spreads auspiciousness by its soothing rays. And it spreads auspiciousness. Right now, our consciousness is very constricted, because we are conditioned by the 3 modes of material nature. Our consciousness is very, very constricted. It's restricted right now. And But when we chant the holy name of Krishna, what happens is, in fact, I can show you a picture. This is the mirror example. Anyway, I will. So this is what happens. So it blossoms our consciousness. Right now our consciousness is very, very covered by all these layers of dust, dirt, these subtle layers of emotions and so on and so forth. But then when the holy name touches our consciousness, then our consciousness blossoms, like on this side of the picture. So these are different levels of consciousness. There is covered consciousness, there is contracted or shrunken consciousness, there is budding consciousness, there is blossoming consciousness, and there is fully blossomed consciousness. So the Vedas, Bhagavatam talks about all these different levels of consciousness. Right now our consciousness is like very contracted or shrunken because we are undernourished from the viewpoint of the soul. We are undernourished from the viewpoint of the soul. But then when we nourish, what is the food for the soul? It's connection with the holy, connection with our source. Like what is the food for the tube light? Is the electricity which comes from the powerhouse. So similarly, what is the food for our soul? It's actually connection with the Supreme Lord. Connection, it's how this tube light is actually energized by connecting to the main power source, right? The house is connected to the main power source in Fremont, in California, and so on and so forth. So similarly, our consciousness also gets nourished when we connect to our main source, our original divine source, which is Sri Krishna. So then our consciousness goes from contracted consciousness to fully blossomed consciousness, like this. So Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vidaranam. And then Vidyavado Jivanam. It's the life of bride of spiritual knowledge. All Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatu Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Haitukam. So Bhakti has two sons. Bhakti Devi, when she appears in our heart, her two sons also follow her. Do you know who are the two sons? Any guess? Because one son is actually mentioned here. Spiritual knowledge. So when Bhakti Devi enters our heart, she also brings along with her her two sons. What are those? Vasudeva, knowledge and detachment. So Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Jana Atu Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Haitukam. Automatically when Bhakti Devi enters, Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam. Jnana, knowledge, and Vairagya also enter into our heart. So Anandam Bodhivardhanam, it also increases the ocean of spiritual bliss that we are hankering for actually. We are all hankering for this ocean of spiritual bliss, but what we get in this material world is a drop of salt water ocean. We get, that's our unfortunate state. We want an ocean of spiritual bliss, but then what we get is the Pacific Ocean, which is no use actually, because there is a lot of water, but we cannot drink that water to quench our thirst. So we get a drop of water here, but we are expecting a ocean of spiritual bliss. So there is only one thing that can give us the ocean of spiritual bliss that we are looking for. That is the holy name of Krishna. The chanting of it can only be experienced on the spiritual platform. You cannot get this in the material platform. Just forget if you have some little bit of hope. Just forget about it. You can never get this ocean of spiritual bliss in this material realm. You can only experience it in the spiritual platform. And then Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam. It enables one to taste nectar at every step. Sarvatma Sampanam. And completely bathes the soul in Krishna's love. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. All glories to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which awards us all the perfection of life. Anyway, that was just a quick summary. I kept my word, few minutes. Thank you, Sham Jagannath Prabhu. So, now, you can tell about the next part of the program.
So we can invite the kids also. I think kids are also chanting. So we will, but before that, maybe we can all stand up once, do our Gauranga Nityananda stretch, and then we will pass on chanting beats. You can practice. Kali Yuga bodies, we cannot sit for more than a couple of hours. An hour is a stretch for most of us. So we will do Gauranga and Nityananda this time. So I think everybody knows the drill. So try to reach the ceiling as high as possible. So you're stretching your spine, body, hands, legs. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Gauranga Nityananda, 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 Nityananda. Kids also, and then we will get seated. If everyone, kids will come and occupy the front area. So, as kids are coming in, I want to take this opportunity to thank Sundaranand Prabhu. I was hearing how only I think 5-6 questions were asked, but the way Sundaranand Prabhu was beautifully giving such elaborate and wonderful answers, and I was so happy to hear Prabhu referencing so many verses, and that's such an authentic presentation. I thought it was so beautiful. So I felt like I gave this analogy before, and I was remembering any of you played what is that game where you chop off the fruits? Fruit Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
The game throws fruits, and then we are supposed to cut with a knife. And Prabhu was with our doubts of fruits are being cut by the sword of knowledge. So we are very grateful to Prabhu. Please let us express our gratitude by chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So please be seated, and then we will chant Hare Krishna together. So we usually so we do it together. And then of course lights off.
Who's gonna off the lights? Where is the light?
So we can switch off this light and that light. If possible, where are the remaining kids? If possible, please do enter the inner sanctum of this side. So we're going to start in 30 seconds. So please come all the way. So before we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we have another mantra. I'll probably explain the mantra a little later. So please kindly repeat after me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I hope everyone has these chanting beats. So if you don't have one, please raise your hand and someone will. If you don't have, please raise your hand and someone will bring them to you. Do we have more? We do have more, but inside. I will get that so that someone can give it. But we will get started meanwhile. Is it okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare